boy, things have gotten a little tiny crazy since we last spoke, all right? So, if you don't know, yesterday we made a video about the biggest Dying Light 2 update that Techland has given us. Right now, it's only available on PC. It's coming to the consoles at a later time. We don't know just yet for that. But that video went ahead and went over every single change that was listed in the patch notes. Some of the changes that they did were not listed in the patch notes, which I do find kind of concerning and a tad bit annoying. They tried going and pulling a fast one on us, Danny. There are like three, fuck that hurt, but there are like three drastic changes that will ultimately affect how you play Dying Light 2. It's been an interesting 24 hours. In my last video, I said this update saved Dying Light 2. That aged like a good old glass of milk, left out in the sun for a couple weeks. But the three major changes, they come from the charm, the grappling hook, and the broomstick. So starting out with the charm that increased your durability and basically maxed out your repairments, that charm has been completely reworked. In order to use it, it now requires 666 scraps to apply it to a weapon of your choice, which really goes and takes away what made that charm so perfect. If you don't know, you basically did a secret developer Easter egg. You got a charm, you applied it to your weapon, and now you can max out your repairments. And a lot of people are having issues with this because early on into the game's life cycle, we did say that maybe this charm is a little bit overpowered, and we asked Techland for some reassurances. Like right here, this user just said, just one thing, I hope the correct charm in Dying Light 2 is never getting patched and is intended to use it like it is at the moment. Please, for the love of our favorite weapons. Also, thanks for a great game. And the big Chad man himself, he responded, it is intended to work like that and will not be patched. Another gift from players from a great friend of mine, Mr. Korek. And then, you know, they made changes. The internet was not happy about that. Rightfully so. And then Timon came out and said, official Korek charm statement. I hope you understand that it's an Easter egg and not the official repair mechanic. Contrary to what has been said, it has been nerfed. After investigation, I learned it was indeed tweaked without me knowing. I'll try to restore it and make it more meaningful. So I would be clapping. We can't do that right now. So clap for me. Thank you. So they're already taking feedback about this charm and listening to the community, so they're gonna go and try to make it more meaningful. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't go back to what it was. I think it might be tuned just a little bit to not make it super overpowered. Because to be honest with you, it is overpowered. There should be some buffer so that you basically just can't spam it on all your weapons. Whether it's a timer that you can only use it every hour or something like that, there needs to be some sort of mechanic, I say. Personally, I'm in favor of making it a timed usable item, so maybe every hour you can apply it once or twice. That's just something that I came up with right now. That's a better way to tweak it rather than what we have right now. Moving on to the next one, the grappling hook. And holy shit, rest in peace, the grappling hook. Can we get some F's in the chat, please? Say goodbye to the old grappling hook, friends. Once you update this game, that old way is now gone. So horizontally, the grappling hook kind of works the same way as it did pre-patch. But if you try going vertically, it will not let you do that anymore. You basically just lose momentum the higher that you try climbing. And then you pathetically fall down the more and more elevation that you get. If I'm being honest with you, some people are going to be very upset with this change. While for me, I do kind of understand why it happened. Some could say it was taken away from the parkour, which, okay, I can see where you're coming from. But like, I can't tell you a single person that had a problem with the grappling hook. Techland was making changes and putting resources into things that didn't need fixing at this moment. There are other higher priority things that need to be addressed ASAP. Like, I don't know, co-op or something like that, rather than going in and changing the grappling hook when no one had an issue with it. Personally, I think they should have waited before tackling on this whole new grappling hook dilemma. You need to remember that there's a large majority of the player base that simply can't play right now because of bugs and glitches. And while I understand that a majority of those issues are being resolved, I don't see how major fundamental changes to the grappling hook can overtake your broken 4-player co-op at the moment, or how there are areas on the map where you can't free roam around because it says you're quote-unquote leaving the mission area. And then you also have the broomstick, which works completely different than what it did pre-patch. Honestly, this one, it was fun while it lasted. It's kind of buggy at the moment because as you get close to the ground, you kind of just die. Here's the thing, the average player, they can get over most of this. But if you're a speedrunner, when Techland made these two simple changes, I don't think they understood the lasting impact that this had on the speedrunning community. But you know me, I'm not a speedrunner. I'm a Dying Light 2 news guy. So let's go ahead, let's call up the speedrunner man himself, Aussie GG, and let's see what he has to say. All right, so Aussie, how do these new changes in the patch affect the speedrunning community at this moment?
It affected quite a lot, actually. The nerf completely wrecks the leaderboards we have right now. But now that it's nerfed, the current world records are pretty much just completely unbeatable to beat. So we're faced with two options here, either to split all the categories into two different patches, where basically all runs will either use the current patch or patch 1.06, which is basically what the previous patch is from this one before the nerf. Or we would have to purge the leaderboards entirely, which is just horrible for everyone involved. And you know, it just sucks so much. This affects pretty much the entirety of the leaderboards now, not just the night runner trials, but also the full game runs too, where they use the grapple a lot.
Like he said, this put the game in a very awkward spot, because what are you supposed to do now? Are you just supposed to go and purge all the records that you have, or completely remake the system from the ground up again? It's definitely something that I don't think Techland took into consideration. A lot of you might say, just adapt to the new way. What Techland is doing is what they envisioned the game to be. That is a valid argument to have. For a game that was so focused on verticality, it was something that they talked about in almost every interview that they did regarding their open world game. Taking away your most vertical tool and reworking it to what it is now, it's really an odd choice. I'll be real with you, the old grappling hook was overpowered in certain aspects. I don't think you should be able to scale fully fleshed out buildings, but on the other side, you shouldn't be able to grapple 2 or 3 times and then pathetically fall down. I would say there's like that little sweet spot in between that should be the way they implemented it in the first place. So Techland, rework it a little bit, put it more in line to how it was, but you can tune it down a little bit if you do want to go down that path. Despite all these changes, whether you agree with them or disagree with them, I think there's one thing that we can indeed agree on, and that is Techland should not be doing these shadow patches to be making changes to their game. Community reaction could have been very different if it was in the patch notes and informing everybody about the changes. But because it wasn't in the patch notes, it kind of seems like they just wanted to slide on by and make sure no one noticed. But I mean, if you load up the game and play it for 2 minutes, you're gonna notice it immediately. So Techland, if you're watching, please don't continue this shadow changes. Don't do any of that. Be transparent. Tell the community everything. We want to hear about all that shit in jank. We want to hear about everything. We want to know what you're fixing to determine whether or not it actually needed to be fixed. Sorry guys, but you ain't slipping away from this one. We already got you on the charm, and we're banding together to come for round 2. But jokes and memes aside, Techland, please be very transparent in your patch notes. Please inform the community. Let them know every single thing that you're doing to this game. It'll really benefit you in the long run. And everyone who's watching right now, out of the 3 changes, are you okay with them? How do you feel about the charm, the grappling hook, and the broomstick? Tell me down below. I'd be happy to read it. It's mind-boggling because if you read the patch notes on paper, they're great, they're amazing, and then you play the game. And while I do love seeing the improved blood splatters and the ragdolls, there are other things that are taken away from that spotlight. Friends, that is everything that I have for you guys today. Please give me a good old thumbs up because I can't do it myself. With all that said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.